Hello everybody, today we're doing basically a basic training video because my nephew wants to learn process procedures because he might come work for me for a few weeks. So that's what we're doing today. Welcome to JTC training camp. All right, so got everything laid out. First step, glove up. Skin is the biggest organ of your body. You gotta protect yourself. If it's on you, it's in you. So glove up. Well, he'll be required to wear safety protection on the eyes as well because you don't want these chemicals getting in your eyes, especially at such a young age going forward. So first step when it comes to the actual cleaning process is we stop and get the mats out of the vehicle. We come and put them on the mat table. Mat table leaves a lot of pressure off your back. So we're going to be cleaning mats on the mat table. That way we have good posture, and honestly it's a whole lot easier. But you see me film a lot on the concrete because it's a better camera angle. I don't know what to tell you. IG, you gotta get the better camera angle. This table isn't too pretty to look at. So when it comes to cleaning mats, first step, rinse. I didn't turn on the pressure washer. First step, turn on the pressure washer, all right? All right, mat cleaning, easy as rinse. And to make this process as simple and straightforward, we're going to be using this, our pre-treatment spray in the IK Foam Pro 12 Alk, which is a mix of citrus and foam. You don't need to worry about what's in it. Just know it's the pre-treat solution. So we're going to be using this a lot just to make it real simple to follow the procedures today. So foam, if they're real bad, you want to let dwell. So what dwelling does, it actually lets the chemical do some work. These aren't too shabby, so we're going to go ahead and get in to agitation, which is drill brush. Easy peasy. Make sure you get the cleaner off the back of the mat as well, and then I just like to come flop it on to our flooring. All right, then you just proceed to follow that process until all the mats are clean. I like to rinse the table off. When I'm done with the mats, let that area dry. Also, if it's a sunny day, you can leave the mats on the table and they'll dry real fast. But it's sun's going down, so we gotta make sure we speed up the process. I like to clean the brush after I'm done as well. And then we're done with the brush. Okay, let's get into talking about the vehicle today. I actually coated this vehicle a year or two ago. So what had happened was apparently they got into something. They backed into this with an ATV or something, dented it up. Went into the body shop, scratched it all up. Plus these two panels are now, brand new, so nothing on them. So now we're basically doing a coating recovery job, which is recoating the car. So that's the plan of attack for this car, is a full decon, all the good stuff, clay bar, decontaminate this paint, and put a ceramic coating after a paint correction. The full 9 yards with this one. All right, so in this video, where our wheel cleaning will follow the procedure of foam, rinse foam. Foam, rinse foam is the safest way to go about cleaning anything. So, best just to show you rather than talk about it. So, take the IK Foam Pro 12 with our citrus pre-wash and get it all foamed up in there. Get the fender wells too. And now we let that dwell for as long as possible. So it's a little warm, but we're in the shade. It's going to have maximum dwell time, and we'll come back to that one because we're going to go to the next wheel and go ahead and foam all our wheels and tires. That way they get a good extended dwell time, and that citrus cleaner will knock off as much brake contamination, dirt, whatever's on the surface. We're going to try and knock it all off, or as much as possible off at the beginning before touching our wheel and tire. Tire doesn't matter, but the wheel, especially gloss black, we got to get off as much abrasion as possible before touching the surface. Making sense to you, cameraman? Yeah. So you got all this dirt on the surface. If you went in there and went to brushing, it would scratch it all up because you got all those particles, the grit, especially brake dust is really abrasive. So brake dust is kind of like, microscopically looks like a thorn. It's got all kind of spikes and it beds itself into the wheel. So as you can see here with our pre-wash step, When it looks like this, you're ready to rinse. So what has happened here is that citrus has lifted and emulsified that dirt. It's drugged down and emulsified the brake dust and stuff. And now we rinse. All right, then we just rinse all 4. That way they're all pre-rinsed and out. And with a pressure washer, you can see I'm about foot and a half away from any of my surfaces. It's an electric pressure washer, so that reduces the pressure by a bunch, but you want to stay still a foot and a half away from any surfaces, just to be safe. Now that we're all rinsed off, that is the effective pre-wash of our wheels and tires. So next step, we're gonna take that iron remover. You getting that good shot? That good shot of that iron remover? Gotta be centered, all right? All right. We take our iron remover, which today is Age of Iron from Detail Co. You spray that on. I like to put a little extra in them barrels. Haven't seen this car in a while. What this does is any remaining brake dust that's, like I said, it looks like thorns, so it's in the wheel surface, embedded, it's attached. What this does is it basically cuts the thorns off, and so that iron will come out of the wheel surface. After and over our iron remover, we take our pre-wash again, making it as simple as possible. We're just going to pre-wash once again over our iron remover. Added lubrication in this and added citrus cleaning power is going to help out the iron remover do its job. All right, so when it comes to agitating, this is a tire brush. So it's short bristled, it's a little stiffer. This one's actually in the middle. It's a really, really nice brush. And then we just simply agitate our tire. You can get Bob Ross with it and paint trees if you want. Or you can just go to Scrub Town and scrub it up. And you can see with the agitation, that immediately turns brown. And that means you're extracting a lot of nasty dirt or old tire dressing that was on this tire. So really effective there. I like to rinse tools after use. Next is, let's do the barrels. Take our barrel brush. Today is the wheel woolly because this is a gloss black wheel, so we'll go with the safest brush we got, which is the Yum Cars wheel woolly. So I wouldn't whip out the wheel woolly on, you know, the average car. If it's, you know, your chrome wheels or whatever, we just get a regular wheel brush. But gloss black for sure. Want to be a little extra careful. Pull out our big wheel woolly brush. It does a phenomenal job. And then for the agitation of the wheel face, we got a nice soft House of Rags brush. We add a little extra lubrication to the brush. Or we could have suds in our bucket. I didn't put suds in the bucket this time. So I'm adding it to the brush, and then we just come in here and we massage. There's already that iron remover on the surface, and our iron remover has tons of lubricity in it, so it's helping you out. It's super slick. You can feel it under that brush, and it's dissolved those barbs off the brake dust. So this should be a super safe wheel cleaning process at this point. But we want to make sure and give that iron remover a little agitation, and it's going to help out deconning the surface of the wheel face. Making sense? He's learning. Look, he's got his thinking cap on. He's in it to win it. All right, so you saw we brushed all around this area, but we didn't get deep into this the lug nut. So this is where this comes in, and it's just a little swab that we can get in there and clean those out real nice. And valve stem. Get around that valve stem real good, and boom, that's one wheel done. And then we give it a rinse. And this is where you want to do a real thorough rinse. Make sure you get all the iron remover, the soap, the citrus rinsed off the surface. All right. Now, doesn't that look way cleaner? Looking good. All right, next wheel. Also don't want to forget the big caliper back here, bright and red, so you don't want it to be dungy red at the end of your detail, or it'll ruin the whole detail. So you want to knock the dirt off of it too. Oh, we didn't touch on wheel wells. These are like carpeted wheel wells, so we just blew them out with the pressure washer, called it a day. I don't chase those too much. Just usually the citrus and the pressure washer do a fantastic job of just knocking out carpet wells, but if these were plastic, we'd have to get in here and give them a good scrub for sure. So carpeted fender wells can be the bane of your existence, or like today, they're not that dirty, so they cleaned up really, really easy. But if they come in hammered, they can be a pain in your tuchus. Cool. So at this point, I usually blow out my tools, flop them on the table, let them dry. That's just a disposable swab. So this is called a grit guard. What it does, it just keeps your tools off the bottom of the bucket, because the bottom of the bucket, all the grit goes to. So pretty straightforward there. Let's get this out of the way so we're done with it. Next up, we've done the wheels and tires. Now we're going to start working on the paint. So again, the paint process, we're going to follow foam, rinse foam, and we're going to do it with some citrus, or pre-treatment solution, like I said. So with the pre-treatment solution, you can see the dirtiest area of the vehicle, sides, the back. I'm just going to foam it down and put some citrus on all these parts. And it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be exact. Bugs on the front, the citrus is going to break down. Again, it is coated, even if it's all scratched up, that coating, you can tell we're doing the wheels, is still there. Usually there's a bunch of bugs on the mirror, you get them. These look pretty good. We're gonna put some citrus all around this bad boy. Actually, look at these cracks in here with all the dirt. Make sure we get in there with the citrus. Gonna break that down up here. Badges, exhaust tips. The back is always real dirty, especially on like a hatchback type car like this. But you can see as that foam dissipates, it wets out and starts the cleaning process. All right, so we're done with the IK sprayer now. Always depressurize. Whew. All right, so next we're gonna do a foam over our citrus. That way it maximizes dwell time and it gets in all the nooks and crannies, the roof, you know, everything we didn't get with the citrus. The foam will now emulsify. This is a pH neutral foam, so we have a high pH foam, which could attack, if it was a dirty vehicle, could attack more organic contamination. Today, we're using a pH neutral solution, which this isn't this is Quiver Rogue, but pH neutral solution is just going to attack loose dust, that kind of deal. But with that citrus underneath, it's going to be a fantastic pre-soak. Don't want to overlap it too much because that just causes the foam to drag faster to the ground. So you want to get in here and get the shaving cream type foam is going to just maximize that dwell time of the soap and the citrus that is underneath it now. So did you understand the process we just did? We pre-sprayed with the citrus cleaner, the foaming pre-soak solution. It's really attacking the traffic films down the side, the bugs on the front. And then we foamed on our pH neutral soap over it, which just maximizes the dwell time with all this thick suds that's hanging around. and you can see it dragging. So you see the soap also can drag. If anything's super loose, that loose layer of dirt is being dragged to the ground as it drips off the surface. So now we just give it about 60 seconds and then we rinse off. Alrighty, so now we get some slack in our hose. And now we do a top-down rinse, which should, basically, you're gonna think, oh, that car is pretty much clean, right? So it's gonna knock off a good chunk, 80–90% of the contamination, and we still got that last 15–10% that we have to touch to remove. So let's get to rinsing. All right, so we can see how flat all this paint is. They must have reused the gas cap, because the gas cap, you can still see that coating on there going to work, so that's pretty funny. That's interesting. But as we rinse this away, you can see the coating that we applied before it got all scratched up and damaged is still working tremendous. I don't remember what coating's on here, but good coating. Come over here. So you can see that's what a ceramic coating should look like, even if it got all scratched and swirled up. This coating's resilient enough to survive even that abrasion from the body shop. Get in here, blow this out. Very intricate grill. I'll take my time, do a real good rinse. All right, so now we've effectively knocked off a large percentage of our dirt. So what we do is like take my foam cannon. So foam, rinse, foam. So we foamed once, we rinsed, now it's time to foam again. We're gonna foam a bucket. Direct injection of that soap. Look at that, didn't put any soap in the bucket at all from the foam cannon. And now we lightly foam the car again. It's good for that side. Tripping him up, tripping him up. Just about ran out of foam for this side, but that'll cover it. That'll do it. So that's an efficient use, especially if you're using Quiver Rogue. 1 ounce in the foam cannon. We were able to foam, rinse, foam, and fill the bucket up. 1 ounce of soap. I think that's pretty impressive. Next, I told somebody on YouTube I'd give you a sneak peek of what's next in the Thor towel lineup. Let's give them a sneak peek of the Wash Boss Junior. So the original mitt, let's be honest, it was an Eddie mitt. He wanted it big, he wanted it fluffy, 100% polyester, so it didn't weigh 5 pounds with 5 gallons of water in it. This one, this is for me. This is a junior version, so great for future employees as well. As we pull it out, you can see the high quality blend. It is 8x6 size, 8713 blend, South Korean blend, of course, South Korean made. And it feels like you're washing your car with a freaking cloud. If you rip the cloud out the sky, put it in your wash bucket, that's what it's gonna feel like. So, pull this out, you getting my mitt? You getting the mitt? You getting the mitt action? We let that absorb some suds in our wash bucket. Give it a squeeze so it's not super saturated, and then we start the wash process. We'll explain it on the hood so you can see better. So the wash process, the correct wash technique procedure for washing a vehicle is you take your wash mitt and we're going to do long, linear, straight line motions. So if we did this foam, rinse, foam, so there shouldn't be any grit on the surface, but say you happen to pick up a loose whatever, it gets in there, instead of swirling or moving erratically on the paint, it's more of a straight line scratch than a swirl. And that's heavily debated on the online communities, yes or no. So we're gonna wash basically the top part of the vehicle first, but this is how I do it. Long linear motions across the whole vehicle. Overlapping, of course, and now we wash that whole hood. So you can see on the side panels, I'm not going any further than the badge down. we're going to save that area for later. So we just did a panel, so you can go to the bucket and deposit any dirt you may have picked up into the bucket. You can also have several wash mitts and not return to the bucket. There's many different ways you can do the wash process as well, but this is how I do it, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to just repeat this around the whole vehicle until the car's washed. Ladder, you got to be careful with this ladder too. It gets a little squirrely on you sometimes. The windows, you got to make sure you get in here and get in the corners. Wash Boss Jr. easily fits behind the mirror. Get that mirror real nice, get under there real nice. All right, I'm gonna pull up my ladder, do the front part. Make sure you got good footing. I'm telling you, this ladder gets squirrely on you, all right? Be careful with them ladders. Never lift the windshield arms all the way up, because there's always a chance you knock this and then it slams into the glass. So I just wash under the blades and keep it moving. Also, if it's a dirtier vehicle, you might want to get in these emblems with a nice soft brush and agitate, or you can do that after the contact wash. It really all right, so now I'm gonna start doing the lower panels. You know why we save the lower panels for last? Or usually they're pretty dirty. I'm actually pretty clean, so our pre-rinse did an excellent job. And this in our bucket is a grit guard. So what this does is acts like a washboard for our wash mitt, so it cleans us out, especially after doing a dirty area of the vehicle. Now we do the front. Drop the mitt goes in the laundry. You do not use anything microfiber once it hits the ground. So I just washed the lower part of the door. What I'm going to do now is I just flip to the clean side to do this door too. Do this. Yep. Keep washing clean is the goal. Keep everything as clean as possible. So the foam rinse foam method helped us real big time on this one, because I'm even the underbelly of the car, the mitt's still coming out relatively clean. So good deal. Foam rinse foam was super effective. Now we do the next rinse and just get all the soap off. And now you can see after a thorough wash that coating really starts to wake up. Now we're polishing this coating off because it's scratched again. So, but wash did a really good job waking that coating back up for sure. All right, so that's where your process would end with the wheel washing and the paint washing. But next step, because we are going to do the polish and ceramic coat, is the clay bar process. So this is a clay towel, not a clay bar, but it's going to suffice today's application. We're teaming up with Age of Iron, which was designed to be used with clay towel type material. One spray into our towel. I like to break it in on glass. I like to do a couple sprays. And we're just going to work. The clay towel rips out, because there might be a overspray on this vehicle coming out of a body shop, but also I haven't maintained it in a little while, so it might just need a good decon. Good rinse. And another dunk. Now it's ready for the paint. So I like to give the paint a couple spritzes of Age of Iron. We'll give a spritz into the towel too. On the paint again, long. I can feel some overspray or something going on for sure. It's pretty gritty. So we're gonna want some extra lubrication, and we just move back and forth in those linear motions, because clay at the end of the day is going to scratch, might mar, especially on this gloss black, especially if it's soft paint. but always followed up with a good polish, and we will be paint correcting, so not really worried about it, just trying to decontaminate the surface. All right, so it definitely needs a good thorough clay. We'll go ahead and start this panel. All right, smoother on the sides. The front where the bugs are, this is going to do a good job. If there's any little bug guts left on this front, this will rip them out real nice. Again, the mirror holds a lot of bugs. A-pillar as well. All right, nice. And now we go with the final rinse to get all that iron remover that's been eating any contamination, iron contamination, if there was any, on the surface. And you can see now, even after a decon, this coating is back to looking really good. I mean, I don't know what coating I put on here, but it looks freaking phenomenal. So after a decon, it woke the coating back up. It looks amazing. And we're still gonna polish it off because it's all scratched up. So even surviving a body shop, surviving a full decon, proper technique tips keeps that coating in tip-top shape, even if it's all scratched up. So look at that. That's a beautiful thing. Not coated, protected, straight from the body shop to protected and coated on the driver's side. And you can see the trim didn't get replaced. That's the original trim. It's still coated. The gas cap, original gas cap, it's still coated. Take your time, especially when moving with the hose and the ladder, because the hose likes to get snagged. The ladder likes to do weird stuff. Don't want to mess up when we're almost at the finish line. Next, I'm going to take off as much water off the surface as possible with the blow dryer, which is a leaf blower. So I'm going to get in the cracks, the nooks, the crannies, especially right here in the mirror, the gas cap, blow all that water out so you're not chasing it later. Doesn't have to be perfect, just knocking a big chunk. So see, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm knocking a big chunk of water off the surface and out of these cracks. And it died, but we get a large chunk of the water off the surface. So go back to our drying towel, which is the GOAT, the greatest of all towels. And now we're just going to dry the surface. So for the roof, I just like to throw it up there, let it sit a second, and then it dries it up real nice. And then we just work our way around the vehicle till we get it all dry. See, I like the GOAT too. The GOAT's able to get, even in areas like this, a little bit better, a little bit more precise. Even even though it's so big, it's got this fluffy like twist loop, so it's able to get into little spaces. See right here, especially. Come check this out. He's scratching his foot. See that chunk of water right there? So the GOAT drinks it right up. So cool towel. All right, let's get this vehicle dry. And if we weren't polishing, we would use what's called a drying aid and add some lubrication to the towel. But we're gonna polish, so no drying aid required for this one. We're just getting this mug dry. Down here in this grill holds a lot of water. Just press the GOAT up against it and it'll suck up all that water, because all this will drip for 10 years if you don't take your time and get that spot dry. And if we weren't polishing, drips would be a big concern, because they could etch that coating and leave just a nasty little water spot that you'd have to deal with later. but we're gonna be polishing, so I'm not 100% worried. But that is extra work you might add later if you don't get it now. And boom, there we go. That's a full wheel tire. We cleaned rubber mats to the wash and decon process. We dried the vehicle with the goat drying towel from thehouserags.com. That's my process. That's my wash process. That's everything I do on a pretty regular basis. Don't change it up much. Nice and simple, straight to the point. Now he has some study material. He can go back, he can watch, he can memorize the techniques, all that good stuff. I'm thirsty, so we're gonna go get some water, get out this heat, get this car pulled in. Tomorrow we're gonna do a paint correction and coating and the interior. I'll see you on the next one. Like, subscribe.